Hi everyone! To my lecturers, Mbak Dian and Mbak Mutia, welcome. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Mutiara Maira and I'm currently a student at the University of Gadjah Mada and I'm majoring in IUP Communication Science. And so today, in this video, we're going to talk about the dynamic of interpersonal communication and social interaction. Now, to understand a bit more about this, M. Griffin used 3 games to illustrate it. First is bowling. In bowling, there is always the bowler, which is the sender, the ball, which is the message, and then the pins, which are the receivers. There is also the clutter of the board that can deflect the ball, which is noises. And this game portrays the image of one-way communication. The second game is ping pong. Now in ping pong, it's a lot more dynamic because it takes a higher level of concentration and skills for the players or the sender and receiver to send the ball, which is the message, to the other player in order to keep the conversation going. Here, the roles of sender and receiver is always back and forth. The third one is the game charades. Now, charades are the best metaphor to illustrate the fluid and simultaneous nature of interpersonal communication. This model portrays the complex of interaction and the occasionally overlapping messages that are affected by the person, the other person, or any other multiple factors, unlike the one-way bowling or the interactive ping pong. Next is social interaction, which is a social exchange between one or more individuals. Social interactions can happen between an individual and an individual, a group and an individual, and a group and a group. So in other words, interpersonal communication is a part of social interaction. Interpersonal communication is a situated and multi-party accomplishment, meaning that each person's interpretation can differ from one another. This can happen because of a variety of factors. And one of those factors that I learned in class is our psychological state, which is why I love this class so much. It combines a lot of my favorite topics into one class, and it also opens my eyes into things that are right in front of me, right under my nose, something that is so obvious but I've never noticed before. And that is my thought about human and cultural communication class. Gregory Bateson articulated an equation of culture and communication. He described the underlying patterns of behavior through the study of humans and animals. Next is Birdwhistle. He studied on body language and kinesics as related to nonverbal response of interpersonal communication. And this is what he thinks people should focus on studying rather than languages. Moving on to Goffman. He explained that life is like a recurring play, in which we are the actors with roles to play. Furthermore, he explained the importance of language in adding definition and structure to life in the roles that we are assigned to. Last but not least is Gumpers, who state that though some may share the same grammatical knowledge with another person about a language, they can still interpret each message so differently that it could have been a different one entirely. So, one thing that I think all of us can relate to is that the longer we've known someone, be it our friends or our lovers, is the more personal our relationship can get with them. This concept is explained in a theory called the Johari window. Similar to a window, there are 4 panes: an open area, a blind area, a hidden area, and an unknown area. The first area is the open area. So in this area, it is filled with information that both of the interactors know, things like our name, our job, or our university. The second pane is the blind area. This one is filled with things that we aren't aware to ourselves, but the other person does know, like our habit to bite our nails or to twirl our hair or other unconscious things that we may do. The third area is the hidden area. This area is full of our secrets, something we haven't or even won't share with the other person. Last but not least is the unknown area. The unknown area is made up of knowledge of us that we or the other person does not know. Things like what kind of parents we will be when we grow up, or what kind of boss or what kind of employee would be, since it's something that hasn't even happened yet. Like I've mentioned earlier, the longer we know someone or the more interaction we have with them, the more personal it can get. That's why in the first stages of relationships, the unknown area is the biggest, while the open area is the smallest. But as time progresses, those areas switch, and the blind and the hidden area remain the same sizes. This is the general dynamic of interpersonal relationships. Now, all communications takes place in 3 temporal dimensions. Would explain that these 3 dimensions are the past, the present, and the future. The past affects what happens in the present. The present reflects on the past and paves the way for the future. The future is shaped by what takes place in this moment and in the past moment. For example, we want to send a message or an email to our lecturers and we send it yesterday. So our email yesterday affects the response of our lecturers when they write back to us in that moment, and then their response will then influence our future response to their reply. To conclude my video explanation, social interaction and interpersonal communication interdepend with one another. There are dynamic effects given from one to the other, effects such as face-to-face interaction and also relationship between two or more individuals when interacting. And that, everyone, is a quick explanation of the dynamic of interpersonal communication and social interaction. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys enjoy. Bye!